filled with mind, cause we're awakened. You won't catch it.
Awakened Radio Network is brought to you by our sponsors. Visit and let them know you heard about them here on the Awakened Radio Network. Do you have health and medical problems the regular medical system cannot seem to figure out how to fix? If the answer is yes, then check out RifeEnergyMedicine.com. That is Rife spelled R-I-F-E. RifeEnergyMedicine.com for a new way to approach many of your health problems. RifeEnergyMedicine.com. Are you looking for a fun and easy and productive way to promote and advertise your personally owned business? If so, the Awakened Radio Network just might have the solution for you. Visit awakenedradio.net and look up under our products and services tab. Or add Awakened Radio to your Skype contact and send Donna Devane, the station owner, a message. Or you can add DonnaDevane@gmail.com to your email contacts and send Donna an email letting her know that you would like to set a time to go over how to advertise your business in a way that makes getting sales easy without the struggle and a whole lot of fun. Do you have a message, something that just burns within you that you couldn't stop talking about even if someone offered to pay you to? Well, you just might be the type of host that we're looking for here on the Awakened Radio Network. Add Awakened Radio to your Skype contacts or send Donna Devane, the station owner, a message, DonnaDevane@gmail.com. And let's set up a time to talk and see if you and Awakened Radio Network are on the same consciousness wavelength. We might can work together and provide a win-win where your message goes out on our airwaves, reaching our global listeners, bringing fun, self-growth, and a whole lot of excitement to both your life and the Awakened Radio family.
Welcome to Simply Conversations. This show airs every Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central. Each week, we have a new conversation with a guest who will share their story with us about how they've changed or healed their own life. Listen to our discussion and be inspired. This show is brought to you by simplyconversations.com. Feel free to take part in our chat room, ask questions, and talk with our guests. Hello, this is Rob Ragozzine, your host here at Simply Conversations. It's February 16th, 2014. Thank you for joining us. If you'd like to take part in our chat room, you can come to awakenradio.net and click on the live chat tab. You can also add Awakened Radio to Skype or call us at 334-649-7204. And tonight we'll have Kevin W. Reese as our guest. He's a holistic health practitioner with a deep interest in cultivating health by removing stress, toxins, and anxiety from your life. He's also a former radio host with CBS Radio. And he has over 16 years of experience as a DJ. At 28, he found himself with a number of health issues, and he became frustrated with the inability of his doctors to find a solution for him. So he decided to take control of his own health and went on a journey of natural health education through a variety of means, and he'll be here to talk about that tonight. And during this time, he fell in love with healing through holistic health and he went to the School of Integrative Nutrition and International School of Detoxification. So Kevin will be here talking about that and all about food and healing and how you should be eating tonight. And with that, I introduce Kevin.
Hey, Rob. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on the show.
No problem.
I watched quite a few of your videos on your site, and I just noticed that you like to keep it light and informative, and I applaud you for that. And your main goal, I guess, is to help people see that you should really look at the problems that you have rather than sweeping under the rug. And I liked one story that came up. I liked was your roofitis story, where you have a leaky roof, and instead of fixing it, you just go get a bucket and let it fill up.
That's one of my bits, if you will, that I do in my lectures, my live lectures, and it gets the point across that when we go to the doctor, and we have a problem, they treat it, they treat the symptoms, not the cause, and that metaphor really hits home with a lot of people, especially young people.
Now, when you've been helping people, have you had sort of an aha moment that you learned something for yourself?
As far as health?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I mean, my journey started out with me helping myself. That's how this all started, with me being very unhealthy. And so I taught myself a lot, that's a good question. But yeah, I taught myself a lot, and I take my experiences and I pass them on to my clients or just people watching on YouTube or coming to my lectures. And I feel that experience is knowledge. So if I tell you to do something, it's because I've already tried it,
Right. You're honest, and you talked about how your father had heart surgery at 48, his father, I guess, at 50, and you were worried about that. Are you still worried about that for yourself?
I'm not worried about that, but I do joke with the audience when I do live lectures that they're going to have to check in with me in 15 years to make sure, that I'm breaking the cycle. Because as you just said, my father and his father both had open heart around 50. I'm 34 years old. I was heading down that path, but I'm not heading down that path anymore. And people will have to check in with me in 15 years. Let's see if this experiment works.
All right. So a large part of what you do is all about eliminating the waste, the toxins from our body. Can you explain the role of the liver and the kidney for us?
Yeah, I'm a detox guy. I trained under Dr. Robert Morris, and when you train under this guy, it's like Batman going to the League of Shadows. I mean, it's heavy stuff, and knowing how the body eliminates is extremely important, and the two main ways it's going to do that is through the kidneys and through the bowels. And those kidneys are like a drain to your lymphatic system, the cellular waste. So when your cells poop, just like a person does or an animal does. So your cells eliminate waste, and those wastes need to come out. And if your kidneys aren't filtering properly, then, well, it's like a bathtub. If the drain's not working, that bathtub is eventually going to overflow. And the same thing with the bowels. And getting the digestive waste out. All this stuff has got to come out. If it doesn't come out, then it sits inside you, and it snowballs into something else, and it causes a body malfunction. And you mentioned the liver. The liver I call the magic organ because it does so much. I mean, the liver is just a really magical organ. There's a laundry list of things that it does for us, and you know, that's another part of the body that needs to be operating correctly, you know. But you know, it's all about getting the machine to work how it's supposed to work.
And it not only includes food, it includes paying attention to how you're feeling, your emotions, and cleaning those out as well.
Oh yeah, big time. You know, in Eat the Sunlight, in my practice, we go with the 3 Ds, which is diet, de-stressing, and detoxing. And that second D is the most slept on, if you will. You know, it's you know, people aren't paying attention to their stress levels and their emotions, and they don't know how to control their mind, and that's a big problem because if you allow stress to overcome you, then you're not, it doesn't matter how good your diet is, or it doesn't matter how much you cleanse or detox, because your body is going to be so tense, your lymphatic system is going to stagnate, and not only that, you're just not going to live a quality life. You're just not, because you're worried about what your girlfriend said, or your boyfriend said, or your husband, your wife, your boss, your job, your financial issues, like all this stuff just rains down on you, man. And it's like you got to learn how to handle that, because the same wind blows on us all. It's all about how you set the sail. So that's something that we teach our clients, and I recommend everyone listening to to explore how to get to a stress-free place in your life.
Now, how much, Kevin, of changing our diet is about learning what our ego wants and trying to step away from that?
So what the ego wants?
Right. So you're saying, I'm going to eat a bowl of strawberries for breakfast, and your ego says, no, how about some chocolate pudding?
Well, I'd say it's more memory than ego.
Yeah. A lot of my friends are eating chocolate pudding.
Yeah,
you know.
The memory is like the brain is like a hard drive, you know, of a computer, and you know, these things that are conditioned in us come up as memories. So, you know, if you eat nachos and cheese during your favorite TV drama every Thursday night, then you're forever going to associate nachos and cheese with that TV drama for the rest of your life. You know, it's classical conditioning with your memory. I think the ego is more desires, you know, wanting to be the best, you know, and somebody gives you a compliment and makes you feel good, that's ego, or somebody tells you you're ugly, you know, it hurts your feelings, that's ego, you know. But food is really, really directly connected to memory.
So to pay attention to when you're sitting down to that favorite show and reaching for the chips.
Yep.
To retrain yourself.
That's
or
right. And that's all it is conditioning. That's it.
No.
We learned this in high school with Pavlov's dog, right? We learned all that in high school, Pavlov's dog. They taught the dog, they conditioned the dog to associate the ringing bell as food. And eventually the dog would salivate when it heard the bell. And it's the same thing with us, except we can hop in our car at 2 in the morning and go to 7-Eleven, and the dog can't. That's the difference.
Right. So see where you're sabotaging yourself and notice your patterns.
Exactly. And notice the emotions that, maybe let's say your mother said something that ticked you off, right? She said something that ticked you off, and you've been looking for her acceptance for 20 years of your life, and she said something that ticked you off. Next thing you know, you're in the car and you're in McDonald's. So that's what makes you feel good. That's what brings you back. You know?
So just notice that. And I noticed one of your videos you were talking about a stolen bike, and again paying attention to your emotions and being able to work with them and being okay with the fact that someone walked away with your bike.
Yeah. Yeah, somebody definitely walked away with my bike, and I enjoyed it last summer. And, I didn't lock it up, man. I didn't lock it up, and I knew there was a risk that somebody would take it right off front porch. And I accepted that. And when my bike got stolen, I was disappointed, but I was able to let it go really fast, and that was a nice way for me to know I'm heading in the right direction as far as my growth. If that had happened to me 5 years ago, I'd be pretty ticked off. I'd be pretty ticked off, but it just didn't bother me. I just figured that whoever took it needed it more than me. So, to anyone listening, when you're strengthening your mind and you're growing yourself and you're growing your energy, you go through this amazing journey, and things like that are benchmarks, and you're like, wow, okay, I am growing. So.
Right. Now, let's focus on the weight, because I notice you keep repeating it in your videos that it doesn't matter, you say.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, why did it...
I just feel like if we focus on the weight, then we're in trouble, because weight doesn't mean that you're healthy. And, if somebody has a little gut with some baby fat, and some love handles, and their kidneys are filtering right, and their digestive system is working right, then they may be more healthy than the guy with abs who works out at the gym every day, whose kidneys aren't filtering properly, or doesn't, go to the bathroom well. I put my money on the kid or the guy with the fat around his waist. So, health is not weight. Certainly, if you're very obese, you got some work to do. But, if we focus on weight, we're in trouble, because it's not health. It's just not health. True health is just, it's really a complicated thing. I do my best to simplify it to make people understand it. But when you go inside that human body, boy, it's one heck of a machine. And Bruce Lee is a great example, and I've been saying this in interviews for a while, but Bruce Lee died at 32 years old from cerebral edema. And this man was in super physical condition. And he died from a body malfunction. And, if that isn't proof that being in shape does not mean you're healthy, I don't know what is.
Right. So what about let's talk about the commercialization and the whole diet industry. Should we even pay attention to that, or just let it go? All these pills and protein powders for weight loss, are there any good ones?
Yeah, I wouldn't pay any attention to it. I wouldn't pay any attention to it. I would, find someone with a holistic approach, and get your life in order. And any lifestyle or holistic program, losing weight will be a side effect. I know it is on my program. It's a side effect of that lifestyle change. What a good side effect, But yeah, protein is acid, and I'm very anti-protein, especially those powders. And you got a lot of network marketing companies and multi-level marketing companies. They're in the protein powder business now. and it's really getting out of control, man. NutriBullet just hopped in the game. I noticed that. NutriBullet, I guess considered one of the most popular blenders out there. So if you go on their website, you'll see that they have powders now too. So it's like powders are so lucrative, and people are actually conditioned to think that, hey, I can make a shake and throw powders in, and I'll be okay.
And they don't think about the calories or empty calories, or
they don't
all the fat.
Yeah, I mean, they're not thinking about what it does to their body. I'm not so much concerned with fat calories, but this is chemistry. This is chemistry, and it's like playing with chemistry. It's like seeing a chemist in a lab with the white coat on and the mask on and doing all this crazy stuff with all these elements. That's what happens inside of your body with whatever you eat. Whether it's a protein shake or whether it's a piece of pizza or whether it's an apple, it's going in your body and it's going through a process of chemistry. And it's a complicated thing that we are just not educated on, and it's just not really something you're going to see on the Dr. Oz show.
So, can you tell us how you eat?
Sure. Well, I eat a lot of sunlight. That's the thing, eat the sunlight. But, I'm a big believer in fruit. Not only has the greats, the natural health greats, not only have they been talking about this for centuries, but I've experimented with myself with it and with clients, and it absolutely works. Fruit is what we're supposed to be eating, and my diet consists of lots and lots and lots of fruit, and then I supplement that with vegetables and sometimes some seeds, some nuts, every now and again a potato, and that's pretty much it. I stay away from meat, I stay away from dairy, and I stay away from grain.
So don't worry about do you worry about low carb or any of those fad kind of diets?
No, not at all. I don't pay attention to any of that because a wild raccoon or a deer or a lion doesn't. So I don't think that it's necessary for me to, I don't pay attention to that. I just eat, and it works.
So your diet's largely a raw food diet.
Yeah, it's not completely raw, but it's probably 80 to 85%. Certainly in the winter, I'm here in the Northeast, so certainly in the winter I cook a little more. I got a nice asparagus dish I will be cooking up tomorrow for myself. But in the spring and the summer, boy, I'm getting on those melons. I'm getting on those melons, those grapes. And I detox regularly. I cleanse myself a lot. And, I fast about 100 days a year. And, colonics twice a year. I treat my insides like we treat our teeth. You know what I mean? Like we all brush our teeth at least 2 times a day, and we go to the dentist twice a year. And that's how you need to cleanse your body too.
Now, Kevin, do you grow your own food? Well, I know you live in the Northeast. I live pretty much locally to you as well, so I don't do that, but I have taken part with like the CSA programs and similar things.
Yeah. I don't grow my own food. I wish that I did. It's something that is on my list of things to learn and things to do. I've just been focused on my business and my practice and helping others and So I haven't been able to explore that avenue yet, but I do plan on it for sure.
Now, Kevin, we're about 5 minutes from our first break. Can you share your links so that people can find you out there on the World Wide Web?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, the best way to find me is don't forget my middle initial. Because there's a lot of Kevin Reeses out there, but there's only one Kevin W. Reese. So whether it's YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter, it's Kevin W. Reese, R-E-E-S-E. You can find me there. And then, when you go on Facebook, you can find the Eat the Sunlight Facebook page, and that's really growing. We just hit 2,000 people, and, there's a nice little movement starting, and we're putting out a lot of valuable information. So look up Eat the Sunlight. Sure.
And how about any upcoming lectures or appearances you'll be making?
Yeah, I got two big ones coming up. I got a Sunlight seminar April 5th. That's going to be at the Holiday Inn at 100 East River Drive in East Hartford, Connecticut. We're expecting over 100 people. Pretty big stuff. Pretty cool. And then the following month in May, I'll be rocking at the Recreate Connecticut Green Festival. And I heard a rumor they're putting me on the big stage, so I'm pretty excited. Big stage, outdoors, microphone, anyone walking by, that's my time to party.
Okay. So when we come back, we'll have people open up to questions as well. So
Sure.
That'll be after the break, though. So I'll share the contact information so you can be aware of how to reach us. Again, 334-649-7204, or at Awakened Radio tier Skype, or come to the site, awakenedradio.net, and click on the live chat tab, and you can ask questions of Kevin. And before we go to break, Kevin, do you have a real quick health story that you can share with us that we can all learn from?
A health story?
Well, something that struck you as important to know, or something.
Okay. It's got to be short.
Well, 2 minutes.
Okay. Well, I remember, I have a client who was going to be put under surgery to have fibroids taken out, and she resisted, and we worked with her, and it wasn't very long before those puppies shrank from like a grapefruit to a golf ball, from a golf ball to a lima bean, and the doctor didn't know what to say. Just kind of, keep doing what you're doing, whatever it is you're doing, So, I don't know, quick little story there, because, they don't really know. They only really know how to prescribe, and it's not their fault. It's the way they were trained. But, that's my story. I have tons of stories, Rob, so I had to pick one on the spot, but, yeah, there's one for you.
So that's basically, she changed the way she was eating, drinking, let go of the medications.
Diet, de-stress, detox. We changed her diet. We got her out of the being stressed out phase, and then we cleansed her out, and those puppies shrank. I believe it was in 4 months. 4 months.
Okay. And we'll be back after the break with more stories and questions from Kevin W. Reese.
Donna Devane, station owner here at the Awakened Radio Network. And I'd like to ask you for your help. Would you consider helping Awakened Radio Network move into 2014 in a brand new, bigger, more exciting way? Live streaming TV in addition to our live streaming radio. If you would love to give something back to the station that gives you the tools for self-empowerment so that you can do your own healing and your own work, well, then head on over to www.gofundme.com Awakened Radio. That's gofundme.com/Awakened Radio. Well, this is cool. Wish we could get him to do a little promo. And speaking of you, Bryce, and also Don Mose to say, this is Don Mose from Happy Days, and you're listening to Awakened Radio.
Sure. Hi, this is Don Mose from Happy Days, and you're listening to Awakened Radio.
Welcome to Simply Conversations. This show airs every Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central. Each week, we have a new conversation with a guest who will share their story with us about how they've changed or healed their own way. Listen to our discussion and be inspired. This show is brought to you by simplyconversations.com. Feel free to take part in our chat room, ask questions, and talk with our guests. And we're back, and we're talking with Kevin W. Reese, and he's talking about healing by paying attention to the foods and the toxins that you're taking into your body. And one question that I have, Kevin, is what about fluoride, for instance? Do you pay attention to that?
Fluoride in the water, yeah. I mean, you know, I try to stay away from the tap water, but it's darn near impossible unless you're, like, super rich. You can get filters for, you know, your shower and stuff, but the thing about fluoride is it calcifies your pineal gland, which is, for anyone that doesn't know, that's the gland. That's the third eye. That's what we call the third eye, and that gland is our magical gland. Not only does it help with sleep, but it connects us to the spirit world. So, you know, it's unfortunate that that gland is calcified by the time we're 10 or 12 years old. So, man, I mean, kind of smells like a conspiracy to me. But I do what I can, Rob, but you can't, you know, you can't eliminate everything in this very toxic world that we live in. So, you know, detoxification on a regular basis is needed to live in this world.
And that brings me to the next question, which is, what about the GMOs?
Same thing. I mean, try to stay away from them as much as possible, but, you know, the reality is that, you know, you may get one in your body. You know?
Right.
I'm still rocking with the fruits and vegetables, no matter what. So, you know, if I got to eat a GMO pepper, I'm taking that over the grilled chicken any day of the week. So, you know, it kind of is what it is, man. You do your best to stay away from it. You know, go to farmers markets and get familiar with your farmers, and, you know,
learn how they grow their food.
The right food.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So you learn how they grow their food, you make a relationship with them, and that's the food you eat.
Absolutely. Yep.
Now, I was watching one video about fermentation, especially, I guess, around Thanksgiving when you're filling up your plate with 12 different things. Can you talk a little bit about that, Kevin?
Sure. You got fermentation and putrefaction. Fermentation is what's going to happen when you mix fruit with any other food, pretty much. because the body wants to digest sugar first. So it's going to take the simplest form of sugar. So if you eat, let's say you have oatmeal with blueberries on it. Your body is going to go for the blueberries first. So that oatmeal is going to ferment, and those grains are basically going to be turned into alcohol. And in putrefaction, it's the same process, but it's with protein in sugar. So if you eat, let's say, a piece of chicken and a potato, your body's going to go for the potato first, and then that protein, that chicken, is going to putrefy, which is a fancy word for decay. So it's like roadkill. And that putrefies in you, and then that sets up, they both set up an area for parasites. So, and that's a big reason why us humans are walking around with insects in us and fungus. It's crazy inside here. Crazy inside this little belly.
But what about probiotics?
Probiotics is a Band-Aid. I'm not a believer in it. I think that's another thing that they're screwing us up with. Anything you see on a commercial is no bueno. You know what I mean? That's a great way to judge it. If they got probiotic commercials on TV, you know the deal. And
stay away.
Stay away from it. It's not natural. It's not natural. If you got a tummy ache, if you need probiotics, then you're not eating right. You're not eating right. It's like if you need a Band-Aid, then you cut yourself. So, if you did have a tummy ache and you needed to, break down whatever is going on in there, I would just do some apple cider vinegar. Some apple cider vinegar will take care of that. There's no reason to take probiotics every day. And, a lot of the older folks are on this, like my parents' generation. I gotta take my probiotics. And, it's ingrained in their head, and, this is another form of programming. We're so programmed. And I could go on for hours about this, but in short, this really blasted off in the 80s when cable television came around. So, we started to get sicker after cable television came out. Go figure.
Now, we're talking with Kevin W. Reese here, and if you have a question for him, you can call 334-649-7204, or at Awakened Radio to Skype, or come to the website and come to the chat room and type your question in the chat box if you have a question for Kevin. Now, Kevin, this all brings up another question about what they call sick building syndrome. So is that all made up, or are allergies in our head, and should we just forget about that?
Say it again, what syndrome?
I guess like if there's a building that people get sick in, they call that sick building syndrome.
Okay.
So how can we, I guess you might say, do your detoxing and then get the heck out of there.
Yeah, do your detoxing always, just like we go to the dentist twice a year. And we do that so that we can take care of our teeth. So, detoxing would be how we take care of our insides. And, you're always going to have, there's always going to be germs. There's always going to be germs and bacteria and fungus, and there's no escaping it. There's no escaping it, and, me and you can come in contact with the same virus and the same germs, and one of us may get sick and one of us may not. It all depends on the person's immune system and what's going on inside there.
Right. So the older generations are going to be looking to ask their doctors. They've been programmed to go to the doctor or not. So how might they begin to look at that and bring natural ways of healing into their life?
Well, it's hard for anyone over the age of, let's say, 50. You know, it's a little more difficult because they've been programmed longer. You know, it's up to the young people, man. That's why I target, because I'm a young guy myself and I can be fun and silly. I like to target younger people. And what happens is, you know, somebody younger in their 20s gets excited about natural health, and what do? They tell mom and dad, you know? Like, Mom, I'm telling you, you gotta get off the probiotics. You gotta. I saw this crazy guy on YouTube named Kevin Reese, and he said A, B, C, and D. Look, watch the video, look, you know? And, you know, that's the only way it's going to happen is by the young people, you know, approaching their elders. Because the elders aren't seeking this knowledge, they're stuck in their ways, for the most part.
So, if they were willing to change, Kevin, what might they begin to at least try? Any kind of exercise or therapies, acupuncture, maybe?
Well, I always start with the fruit. I mean, because anyone can do it. Anyone can have a fruit meal. And that's what I recommend. And often when I do interviews, I'm usually asked the question of, if you could give one piece of advice. And that's my one piece of advice, is have yourself what we call, each sunlight, we call it a monkey meal. And that's just taking one fruit and having it for a meal. I'm not talking about a snack. I'm not talking about grabbing an apple as you're running out of the door. I'm talking about eating 5 apples as a meal. And when you do this, you start to see massive changes in your body. You'll notice it about a month or 2 in, and you'll start to see incredible changes, and, you know, you'll be on your way. That monkey meal is a lifesaver. I mean, it puts you in the right direction.
Kevin, what about people?
That for any age group.
What about people, Kevin, who say that's going to give me gas or bloating or something? They've been brain trained, programmed, whatever it is, to think that they're going to get digestion problems from eating 5 apples.
Well, I would just tell them to do it for a month and let me know how it went. That's what I would do. You know? And
Okay.
Usually it's sugar. Usually it's sugar. They usually use sugar as the excuse, but it's not bad sugar. It's good sugar. And I call it sunlight sugar. And, you know, if there is some gas going on, it's probably mixing with all the stuff that you had, that you have already inside of you.
Right.
You know, we don't just eat things and poop it out. It's just not that simple. You know, there is a major process that happens, and, you know, again, we're back to chemistry.
Now, Kevin, do you recommend testing your pH balance and your blood chemistry on a regular basis?
No, I don't think so, because then what happens is you become obsessed with it. You know, it's not a bad thing to do every now and again just to see if you're improving or whatever. But I wouldn't do it on a regular basis.
Okay. What do you have a regular morning wake-up routine?
Oh yeah. I wake up and first thing I do is I get out of bed and I sit on the couch and I go into a meditative state. Some days are longer than others. And once that's done, then I usually do a visualization exercise. whatever I want to manifest. And then, I'll stretch a little bit, and then I guzzle about 16 ounces of water, get everything moving, and then I start my day. Some days I'm hungry and I'll make a smoothie, and some days I won't.
No, you don't use, again, protein in your smoothies, do you?
Nope.
Well, protein is not needed, basically.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not. I mean, it's on the acid side of chemistry. I'm not saying don't ever eat protein, but I wouldn't put it in my smoothie every day. Definitely not. But yeah, you're going to get those amino acids from the fruits and the vegetables. And those amino acids add up to protein. They make up protein.
Kevin, what would be a good smoothie for someone to make to help them get ready for the day?
Sure, you make yourself a sunlight smoothie. Coconut water, berries, a banana, and maybe a little handful of spinach or kale or something. Comes out green, comes out mean, comes out lean. It comes out tasting good. Can't beat it.
Now, Kevin, is that a fresh coconut, or there's some of these boxed coconut drinks?
Yeah, you can get the box ones. Find the right brand, but only one ingredient.
Right, because a lot of those have sugar.
Right. Yeah, I just find the ones with one ingredient. It just says pure coconut water. That's it.
Okay. No coffee.
No, no coffee.
No coffee. Stay away from.
I'm a big tea guy, though. I love tea.
But isn't that similar to coffee with the caffeine?
No, I do herbal tea with no caffeine.
Okay. So pay attention. Do you recommend the acid strips just so people can kind of get a handle on what the foods are causing to happen within their system, at least at first?
The what strips, you said?
They have pH strips so you can test your
okay.
acid balance.
No, I mean, once you learn which foods are alkaline and which foods are acid, you pretty much know. That a piece of chicken is acid and an apple is alkaline, So, once you learn that, there's a lot of books out there. There's a lot of knowledge on the internet. The acid alkaline food guide, and, there's all sorts of books out there that you can just get knowledge on. And I don't think the strips are necessary.
Okay. Now, we didn't really talk a lot about the lymph system. Can we talk a little bit about that, Kevin?
The lymphatic system?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very important system, and that's our sanitation department, and that's how we take waste out of the body and bring them to the outside world. And, we do that through the process of a fluid in our body. It's called the lymph, Lymph, and that lymph is all over our body, and there are interstitial fluids that go along with the blood. And if our lymph isn't moving correctly, then it becomes stagnant, and then those acids and those toxins, they get caught in the lymph. And then it presses up against our cells, and that's where we have malfunction in the body, where we become on fire. So it's important to keep that lymph going like a river and not a pond. Like a river and not a pond. And, fruit is the major food that keeps the lymph moving. So, that's another reason why we need to be eating a ton of fruit.
Eating fruit is good or bad?
Good.
Good. So that helps the lymphatic system keep flowing. So a good meal for breakfast is some kind of fruit, berries, or whatever's locally available.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And stay away from what we've been programmed, the cereals, to eat.
Yeah, those starches. So starch is, and most people put, milk in there. Now you got putrefaction going on, plus you got dairy, which clogs up your lymph. Dairy is arguably the worst food known to man.
And the wheat causes all kinds of food allergies, or is at least connected to those. What do you think about all the commercialization of the gluten-free? Is that helping?
Oh, no, it's hurting. I mean, it's horrible. It's horrible. It only shines the light on a little part. If something has gluten in it, then we weren't meant to eat it anyway. So by taking the gluten out and saying, hey, it's gluten-free, that's like, I don't know, man. That's like taking an ingredient out of heroin and being like, hey, take this heroin and it's gluten-free. It's not the best example in the world, but, you get my point. I mean,
right.
It's selling products to the people that are told to have gluten sensitivity. And it's like, yeah, of course you have gluten sensitivity. You're not supposed to eat it. None of us are supposed to eat it. It's not natural.
But then people say, I love pizza. I love bagels.
Yeah. We're a society that's addicted to starches and protein. And, it's a big reason why we're in trouble, But yeah, I mean, an apple and orange is gluten-free, right?
Right.
I don't see them advertising oranges as gluten-free.
But you do see them say something like unfooled around with, but then find out that they fooled around with it.
That's right. Yep.
So, but they all do something similar, once again. So it's not just one brand, it's all the brands. Pay attention.
That's right.
Got a question. I think we talked about GMOs. Can you go a little bit deeper into that?
Yeah, genetically modified organisms. I believe they invented it in 1996. And the original excuse was that they needed to make it so that the bugs wouldn't attack the produce or attack the plant. And that just snowballed into a whole industry. And, they're able to patent the seeds, and they're able to grow more than usual, and the bugs don't bother them. And, it's unaltered. I mean, it's altered food.
I think in one of your videos you said you'd rather eat the apple with the worm in it versus the one that's going to kill that worm.
Right. Absolutely. If the worm wants it, I want it. Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, it's Rob, it really comes down to just one sentence. Follow the laws of nature. That's it. It's really that simple. If a worm or a bug wants that food, then so don't I. And if the bugs stay away from it, then there's something on it. Or if the bugs die, that's another one, right? Sometimes, they spray the food and the insects die. Well, why would I want to eat it if the insects die? Did you run tests that it won't harm me? It's crazy, and it's a major problem in America because we have a ton of corn and soy fields, because corn and soy make a lot of money because they put it in all the processed food and they feed it to the animals. So, a real simple fix would be getting rid of the corn and the soy fields and growing fruits and vegetables.
And not worrying about the middle step.
Right. Yep.
Well, Kevin, we've come to the end of the show. I want to thank you for coming on. Your wealth of information. Can you share your links again?
Sure. Hop on Facebook and look up Eat the Sunlight, and find us on Facebook and like our page and come join the movement. If you're looking for me personally, you can go on pretty much any social network and type in Kevin W. Reese. You'll find me. EatTheSunlight.com, and that's pretty much it. Big seminar coming up, April 5th. I think we're going to be sold out, but over 100 people are going to come into one room, which is pretty cool. Looking forward to it.
Well, congratulations. And you'll also be talking in May at the Recreate Fair?
Yeah, Recreate Green Living Festival, yep.
So that's in Elizabeth Park?
May 3rd.
May 3rd. So go, if you're in Connecticut, go see Kevin and ask questions. Any final words for us, Kevin?
What's that?
Any final wisdom for us?
Any final wisdom? Oh, man, to heat the sunlight. The magic from the sunlight comes down and it absorbs into the plants. So, and we can eat that sunlight by eating and drinking fruits and vegetables. Real simple concept. Just eat the sunlight. It's real simple. Everyone gets it. We don't have to confuse people with the word vegetarian. We don't have to scare people with the word vegan. We don't have to scare people with the word raw. We just keep it sunlight. Everybody will understand.
Okay. Thanks for coming on again. I hope you're successful on both the upcoming events.
Thank you, Rob. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. That was Kevin W. Reese of Eat the Sunlight. And you can find his information in the forum and on simplyconversations.com. Now, to some radio business. If you'd like to take part in our Thrive magazine, you have until the 20th of each month to contribute an article, art, or poetry, and we share your bio and a link back to your site, and it's published on the 1st of each month. So that's a great way to connect with the Awakened Radio community and let people know who you are. We also have a dream class upcoming March 8th, which I'll be teaching. It starts on March 8th and runs for 6 weeks, every other week, for an hour and a half. And we basically cover the basics of beginning to understand your dreams and how to connect inward and learn how to work with the symbols in your life that you're receiving. So a lot of that is personal, but we begin to take it apart and look at it, what it means for you, rather than relying on what's written in a book that someone else has written. So you'll be learning how to understand what your dreams are saying to you. Again, that starts March 8th. And thanks for listening. Stay tuned next week for another episode of Simply Conversations here on Awaken Radio.
You won't catch us sleeping through the fight at night. For all eyes open, showing our inside and light so bright. We are awakened. Come and join our love, it's so right.